What's going on, guys? So I just wanted to share something that I said to somebody earlier, and he said to me, he's struggling to lose weight and he's been at the same weight for a long time. And I was kind of asking about his diet and saying, so what's going on? Tell me about your day-to-day eating. He said, look, in the day I eat fine, but then in the evening, that's when I have that binge mode. And he's similar to me in terms of he loves food, he loves chocolate, he loves the sweet stuff, the little luxuries in life, and he is a natural endomorph, so he can put on muscle very easily, but also he can put on fat. And that's me, naturally. I can do both, but I've always found it harder to be lean. I naturally could fill out and easily be around 100 kilos, So I said to him, I said, tell me about your eating. And he said, daytime, fine, but evening is when I go all out. And he said, I'm waking up and then I'm eating chocolate, sweets. And I said, look, this might not be the most conventional approach and the most health orientated approach, but I said, if your pure goal is fat loss, is it? And he said, yes. And I said, right, daytime, meat and veg. I said, literally stick to majority meat and veg. I said, cut the carbs out. He said he had a lot of rice. So I said, mate, forget the rice. I said, save the carbs for the evening. And not just only save the carbs, but save the calories. Because if he's having loads of carbs and calories coming from rice, bread, pasta, things like that, then cutting carbs out in the day, or the majority, is going to make a huge difference in saving calories for them when it does come to the evening and he's binging. He can have that chocolate, he's getting his carb sources from there, even though it's more sugar based, it's not the best. However, it's a way, if he's going purely off fat loss, to be able to manage to bring his weight down, because he's going to be eating less than he's burning, which is going to be really, really good. So through that, because ultimately fat loss comes from calories in, calories out. If you're burning more calories than you're eating, you're gonna lose weight. You're gonna lose body fat rather. And if you're eating high protein, you're going to sustain as much muscle as possible, because protein is the building blocks of muscle. That is the key macronutrient that you need to sustain your muscle and build muscle and recover muscle. So, I said meat and veg in the day, basically carnivore lifestyle. Practically, I said shit ton of veg on the plate, and I said meat, I said you'll be getting your majority of your protein in the day, which is brilliant. So I said you're easily hitting 2 grams per kilo, easily. He's about 86 kilos. So I said, mate, you're easily probably getting 180, 200 grams from, the steaks you're getting in the day, the chicken, etc. But then come to the evening and he's not had any carbs, then he's having his chocolate, etc., and his treats. He's naturally going to see that fat loss, unless obviously he hasn't told me fully what's going on with his eating. But just by cutting out those carbs in the day, he's going to be able to have the chocolate in the evening and still see the fat loss. I have bulked, cut, maintained all of that stuff, and I got my most shredded when I was actually probably eating the worst, which is really interesting actually. And ultimately it does come to calories in, calories out. If you're eating rubbish, you may not feel great, but you can still see the fat loss go down if you're burning more calories. You could have McDonald's 3 times a day every day, and if it meets your calorie requirements for fat loss, so you're burning more calories, like you're super active, like you can see these athletes, they're eating so much, 6,000 calories a day, and you think, how are you shredded? They're shredded because they're active so much that basically what they're eating doesn't matter, because calorie wise they're burning so many calories day to day that when they are eating, it's not even touching the sides, because they are burning more calories than it's going into their body via food. So that is the ultimate rule. And I said to him, look, it's not the most health-orientated approach, and I'm not saying you guys should follow this, but I'm just saying find what approach works for you. That is the ultimate thing I would recommend. Find what works for you. And if this means he can get to the 79 kilo goal that he wants and lose 7 kilos, then brilliant. And I said, then look, go back up to maintenance, find your balance, eat a bit cleaner, eat healthier for your health, and mate, you're going to feel fantastic. But I said, if your pure goal is fat loss, this is probably an approach you should give a try based on what you said you do and based on who you are. And I know him relatively well, so I kind of gauged, the kind of person he is as well from what he told me. So just a little bit of advice there, guys. I just wanted to share that story from when I was PTing earlier in the gym, and finished with my client, and then just had a nice chat with him. So yeah, just a little bit of advice there. And the key is being adaptable, flowing like water, just like Bruce Lee said. And if you haven't checked out his book, I think it's Be Like Water, my friend. Yeah, that's the name. It's fantastic because it's all about adapting to life, finding your approach. There is no one way. The way is your way. And it's adapting and taking knowledge from other people and ultimately adapting to what you're doing. So yeah, just want to share that, guys. And if you want any more advice, drop a comment down below or follow my Instagram at CTCC Health and Lifestyle. I'll link that down in the bio. And also, if you want to go onto my website, just click the link in my bio and you're right there. Cheers, guys. See you in the next one.